really do want to be flexible and you want to be gracious, but also at the same time, like, I don't want to serve overcooked chicken or burnt casserole. A few weeks ago, we were hosting a dinner party and we had invited 3 other couples to join us. Now, one couple was running late. So what do? Do you dig in and eat? Or do we keep everything warm, pour the rest of the people who are there cocktails, and just wait it out? It's hard to know what to do, right? So in today's video, I'm sharing with you what to do when your guests are running late. Now, I'm going to share a little bit later in the video how we handled the couple who was late. So stick around to the end to find out what we did. Now, before I get into that, there's a couple things that we need to keep in mind. So number one, you really need to keep in mind the ratio of guests who are on time versus the ratio of guests who are late. So in this instance, let's say you've invited 6 people and 3 people are running late. Well, in that case, you're probably going to wait versus out of those 6 people, 1 person is running late. Unless, the caveat here is, unless that 1 person is the guest of honor. So if you're hosting a birthday party and the birthday person isn't there, then you're probably going to wait. If you're hosting Mother's Day brunch and mom hasn't shown up yet, you're probably going to wait. The second thing to keep in mind is different cultures approach punctuality differently. Because in some cultures, it's really not that important to be on time versus here in Canada, and I'm going to venture to say that most of my friends and family that I talk to anyways, in the US, punctuality is important. So it's really important to be on time when you're given an invitation. It's just proper etiquette. The third thing is the type of event. So for instance, the rule of thumb is that if it's a more casual type of party or get together, like a drop-in kind of thing, an open house, then being on time isn't as important as if, say, it was a wedding, which is a formal occasion, or a surprise party where being on time really matters. Knowing the right thing to do really depends on the type of late that your guests are. Believe it or not, I kind of have like 4 categories of late, and then depending on the type of late it is, that helps me figure out how I'm going to deal with it. Let's start with the first one, and that is fashionably late. Fashionably late. Fashionably late. Fashionably late. That's actually kind of the right time to arrive. Even the Emily Post Institute, which is like the utmost authority for etiquette, says that fashionably late is 5 to 15 minutes late from the time. And that's perfectly acceptable. You actually don't even have to message your host or call your host and let them know that you're going to be 10 or 15 minutes late. As a hostess, what that means is that if you know that for the most part people are going to arrive 10 to 15 minutes beyond the time that you gave them, that gives you a little extra time to get ready or finish putting the food out or whatever that is. That also means, as the host, if you are kind of anticipating that people might be 15 minutes late and you're throwing a dinner party, I would kind of factor that into the plans when you're doing the cooking or the menu, right? Okay, so now what happens if we move beyond that 15 minutes? How do we deal with that? This next kind of late I like to call the emergency late. And that happens in a situation where, like I said, an emergency comes up, right? The car won't start, they're stuck in traffic, their babysitter's late. Like, it's unexpected stuff that's come up. And then a guest contacts you to let you know that they are running behind. Here's kind of like my rule of thumb. So if they're messaging me and they're calling me and they're saying, we're going to be about another 10 minutes beyond that 15-minute grace period, I feel like it's easier to give you time, right? So dinner's at 6, it's 6:15. They now text me to say they've hit traffic, they're going to be running behind, they should be there by 6:30. Well then, in that case, I'll give them another 10 or 15 minutes and we'll wait till 6:30 to eat. Let's say they text me and they're stuck in traffic and have no idea how long it's going to be until they get here, or they're probably going to be another hour because they're waiting for another babysitter to come, or their car's not started and they're waiting for a tow. Like, if it's moving beyond an extra 15 minutes on top of the 15-minute fashionably late, and I have other guests already there and they're the only ones that we're waiting for, then what I would do is, first of all, wish them safe travels, and secondly, let them know that I will keep things warm for them and that we can't wait to see them. Now, when they arrive, greet them warmly. I'll usually leave the place setting for them on the table, keep the food warm for them so that when they arrive, they can enjoy dinner. and still the company of everyone else. Because odds are they've had an ordeal. So they're probably looking forward to whatever it is that you had planned. So now the second group is what I like to call unexpected lates. So these are people who are usually on time and they have not shown up yet, right? So we're 15 minutes past kind of like where typically they would be here and haven't heard from them. So it's been past the 15 minutes, you haven't heard from them, it's really not like them. I would try calling and texting and just making sure that everything's okay. And then depending on if you can get a hold of them, right, then you would proceed how you would with, you know, an emergency late, right? If you can't get a hold of them, then what I would do is now wait an extra 10 or 15 minutes, again, past that fashionably late. From that point, you know, hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully hear from them and handle it just like I did the emergency lates who were gonna be beyond the extra 15 minutes beyond fashionably late. God, who knew there were so many different types of late, right? But I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if that makes sense. And then even if you have specific situations, let me know in the comments and I can, you know, we can kind of help you through that. But I do have one more late for us to talk about. And this is the one that probably makes all of our blood boil. These are the chronic offenders. Now I know you know them because I have them in my life. I'm sure you have them in your life. These are people who are late no matter what. They are late to everything. They're chronically late. They're not just fashionably late. They're like late all the time. It's like their MO. It's like their thing. Everybody knows. This, you guys, this is the situation I was talking about earlier in the intro where we were waiting for that one couple, and that one couple is always late. God, they're always late. Ooh, it's gonna get juicy. How to deal with chronic offenders. All right. So there's a couple things. First things first, that as the host, I've done my job, right? I've extended the invitation. I've been clear about the time, who's attending, what's expected, planned it, put it all together. So I've done my job. And the second thing is that I might, before the event, you know, for chatting or if I'm texting, I might mention to them like, hey, we're excited to see you next Saturday. I know sometimes time gets away from you. You can say this nicely. I know sometimes time gets away from you, but I'm trying a new recipe. I would really love it if you guys could be on time because I really want to serve it perfect. Or I was talking to so-and-so and they're excited to see you guys too. Can't wait to see you at 6 p.m. on Saturday. And hopefully they know that, right? This is like sidebar. As a hostess, you know, when you're inviting people, you should, I mean, it's good etiquette to let them know who else will be invited, okay? Now, what I will not do for chronic offenders, I will not lie about the time of my event. I think that's BS. I think we're adults. I'm nobody's boss. I'm nobody's mom. Well, I am somebody's mom, but you know what I'm saying. The people that I'm inviting, I'm not their mom. So I'm not going to police. And it's one more thing that I have to remember that I had to tell them a different time than I told everybody else. Like, it's just, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. They're getting the same time. They're adults. We're all adults here. Am I right? Give me a thumbs up in the comments if you're with me on this one. Okay. The second thing I won't do is for chronic offenders, I'm not going to text you and ask you, where are you? Because I feel like people who are chronic offenders kind of like the drama of it. I feel like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they like the drama of it. I'm not going to like buy in. Like I said, I've done my job. I'm not going to text them and ask them where they are or how long they're going to be or that we're all waiting, because I think chronic offenders tend to kind of thrive on that kind of attention. So I won't do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is treat them just like, you know, wait the grace period and then give them the extra 15 minutes, just like in the situation with an emergency, because who knows, it could be an emergency. And then we're going to just sit down and eat. But here's the caveat to this. Okay, guys, here's the caveat. When your chronic offenders arrive, as the hostess, again, it's our job to be gracious, right? So I'm not going to go accost them and say like, where were you? You guys were late. You didn't text me. You didn't let me know. Like, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to greet them just like I did everyone else. I'm so glad that you guys made it. We have food waiting for you. You know, have a seat. Let me take your coat. I'm going to be warm and I'm going to be welcoming. Remember at the beginning I told you about that couple who was running late? These were our chronic offenders. And we started eating. And then they showed up 45 minutes late. I think they were a little bit surprised that we just started eating. And they've been invited a couple times, so I know what to expect from them. And now guess what? Now they show up on time. They show up on time. because it was a little bit of tough love. It was some tough love and some reheated dinners. There you have it. That's how I deal as a hostess. Hopefully that's giving you some insight into how you can deal with it with, I mean, the word of the day is some grace, some flexibility, because you know, when you're hosting, like, stuff happens. So let me know in the comments below, right? How do you deal when you come up with these situations? Or maybe you have a situation and you're not quite sure how to deal with it. Drop me a line. Now, another sticky situation that I did a video on is not when guests show up late, but when guests stay too long. When guests stay too late, how do you handle that? So I did a video on that. I will put a link for it here. I'll also put a link in the notes for you to take a look at that. That may be something that maybe you need some help with. And it's there for you. And if you like the content that you saw here, please hit like and subscribe, because I mean, that makes me feel so good that you're liking it, you are enjoying these, and it kind of keeps me going. It also lets the YouTube algorithm know that, hey, people are kind of liking this content. Until next time, happy hosting. Boop. Oh, we're gonna start fashionably late again. Boop. And yeah, no. Boop. We just, oh fuck, Mara, I can't get it together.